Coach's Bench. For week number 9 of the high school football season, it's gone by very, very fast. Tonight, the huge rival game, Bradley at Cleveland, 7 o'clock for the kick, be at Benny Monroe Stadium. And get here early. If you get here late, you might be standing for most of the game or all of the game. Terry Evans along with Coach Taggart each and every week here on Mix 104.1, but we have to give a big shout out first to Mark Smith and everybody with the McDonald's in this area. Thanks, Mark, and everybody there for sponsoring this program year after year, and it's very much appreciated. And also the staff at CHS Live. These guys do a very good job getting us ready for this and doing the production work. And so Dale Halfacre, all of his crew at CHS Live. Guys, thank you very much. We appreciate it. Coach, ran into a good Maryville team last week. They played ball control and executed well. Freshman quarterback didn't look like a freshman.
No, yeah, they had a good game plan. Honestly, when I was worried about playing on fall break all week, and I don't think the kids, were as locked in as we needed to be. And that's our fault as coaches. We got to do a better job on fall break and bye weeks. We think those two things kind of got us off our rhythm against Bearden and then Maryville. And then we just, they had a good game plan. They came out with a ton of new formations and plays that they hadn't run yet. They had a bye week going into our game, right. So they had 2 weeks to prep, and they were well prepared, and they did a great job and held the ball on us and got up and made it to where we had to throw the ball a lot, and that's not really what we, necessarily need to do to win games. So, but at the end of the game, you saw some cool stuff. Chase Stevens came in and had a good game, and so that opened some doors for some things moving forward.
To me, and I commented on the air that regardless of outcome, to me, it was such a blessing to see him on the field after the situation over at Ray County where he got the concussion, and which looked quite serious at the time. But to me, it was inspirational that he was back out on the football field.
Yeah, just that he was playing, but then he came out and just started, slinging balls and had 70 yards in 2 drives and we completed more balls downfield in those 2 drives than we'd done probably the previous 3 games combined. So that part was really exciting, got everybody going. We got to protect the ball better. We threw 2 interceptions at the end of the game, but it was giving us a chance that we felt like we could come back and throw it around a little bit.
Let's move to tonight. Everybody excited about the Bradley at Cleveland game tonight. A long history, been going on over 50 years, and so the whole town's talking about it. Added emphasis about the Bears being number 1, undefeated at this point in the season. You guys are in the running in the region, even though a tough one last week against Maryville, but you're still in the running. And depending on tonight, next Friday night at Benny Monroe Stadium, see how the playoff picture turns out. Mm-hmm. But first of all, I guess to me, 2 big important questions. First, in a rival game of this magnitude, how do you keep the players from peaking during practice or pregame? I'm sure the emotions are very high, so how do you keep things in check?
Yeah, it's we've been a part of a bunch of these kind of rivalry games. At least me and my coaches have. The Blackman and Riverdale game was that way. That was some old-fashioned pure hate there, and so that was a big one the last 2 years. I've been a part of Ravenwood and Brentwood, which is not necessarily hate, but it gets pretty vicious, and that's the worst social media stuff I've ever seen. Was being at that school. I coached at North Jackson and Scottsboro, so that's like the redneck version of hate. And so it got a little rowdy and wild at times for those 2 years. I mean, this is what makes high school football fun, is that you get to have these big rivalry games and everybody talks about it year round. And so it's a big deal. You're not going to peak in practice, but we knew coming off the Maryville game where we were concerned that practice didn't go the way we felt it should have as coaches. We weren't too worried about practice this week. So practice has gone well this week. The kids, we knew they'd be up for this game. So you can throw out the records and rankings and all that stuff, but the Bradley kids and the Cleveland kids are going to come to battle on Friday night no matter what the record is. And you know, the biggest thing is what team can control their emotions the best.
Right.
So when you deal with rivalry games and emotional stuff, and the kids all know each other, you see it when we play Walker Valley, and then it's going to be even more cranked up when we play Bradley. So we need to keep a level head and you know, not get foolish penalties and that kind of stuff. And hopefully they don't, and you know, they lose their minds, and you know, maybe that'll help us. So it's all about who can handle it mentally better. Usually, the more veteran team can do that. You know, both teams have a good group of seniors, and we'll just have to see who can control their emotions the best.
Good point there, because you're a senior-laden starting team. They have a ton of seniors. They've returned so many people from last year. So you're correct in the fact that you've got kids out there in their senior year of high school, should be able to control emotions, but, you know, in the heat of battle, things happen. So how much do you talk to them this week about, look, you know, don't get us unsportsmanlike, or don't get some other foolish penalty?
Well, we talk about that every week. The big thing this week is we brought in some of the alumni to come talk to the kids yesterday. Is just we wanted. We've talked about two things. First thing is when they put the helmet on from the 90s teams, what that represents to so many people in the community. And what those community members in those 90, 93, 94, 95, 96, what those teams want to see out of a Blue Raider team that's playing wearing that helmet, because that's their helmet.
Right.
And then the second thing is, you know, what does the Bradley game mean to everybody? Because we've got a bunch of new coaches, you know, that are learning about the rivalry. I'm new. And, you know, we've got some new players that are learning about it. And so we've talked about Bradley all season long. We've talked about, you know, what it means to wear that helmet all season long. But now here's the game. And at the same time, you got to be able to control your emotions, which we've not done the best job of. You know, when you're kind of resetting as a program and now you're learning how to win the way that, you know, our coaches expect to do it. You know, we've had some ups and downs on the year. We've had some games that we weren't supposed to win, and we had big wins, and we've had some games that we felt like we should have won and didn't. And, you know, I told you that was going to happen this year.
You did.
And, you know, so now we're sitting at, you know, probably kind of around to where we expected to be. And, you know, we're challenging for a playoff spot. And that's the end goal, is to go further in the playoffs than anybody else. But also, if we could get this win, it would make us feel a whole lot better over the last 2 weeks.
Oh, certainly would. We're going to take our first break on Coach's Bench, brought to you each week by McDonald's. Mark Smith and everybody at the area McDonald's. We'll be back right after this. Coach Tigard, the game tonight, Bradley at Cleveland, as we said, 7 o'clock for the kick. People listening to this program now, I hope you're on your way here, or maybe already here, so that you can get a good seat at Raider Field. The Bears come in as a deservedly #1 team in the state in the AP rankings. To me, when I read about them, look at them, talk to other people about them, they have so many tremendous individual athletes, but then Coach Floyd has meshed up to this point those personalities and that talent together.
Yeah, I mean, when you win all your games, everybody's going to be happy. And, you know, they've got some very strong players over there, a bunch of 4 stars. They got, you know, 5 or 6 Division I athletes. And I said last night in another interview, this is the first team I've ever seen really in high school in this state to where all 5 eligible players that they can throw or hand the ball to is a Division I player.
Yeah.
So that's impressive. You know, they got a great collection of talent over there, and they've done a good job spreading the ball out to a lot of people. And then they're just so dangerous. Any kid that touches the ball, any 5, 6 of them, they can score at any moment. And then even those kids that aren't the 6 famous kids, I mean, they play hard and they do a good job, and they kind of look like a traditional Bradley team where they give it all they've got. They're big, strong kids and disciplined, and that's what their defense is. It looks like their defense doesn't have all the all-star talent, but the front 7 is just as good as anybody we've played.
And I was going to bring up about the defense, because the public is enthused about offense, your offense, their offense, other people that are scoring so many points. That really gets the public's attention and puts on a nice show. The Bradley D, from the little I know, they are on the field a whole lot because that quick strike offense only runs a couple of plays usually in their series, and they'll hit a 50-yard touchdown pass or run, and so therefore the defense has to be on the field a long time, and up to this point they've held up.
Yeah, honestly, I think the defense is the strength of the team. You've got a defensive head coach, and then they're well coached over there, and so I think it's, they've played great the last couple of weeks, and they're shutting people out, and they just do a really good job. I mean, they're very multiple. They do a lot of things. They're hyper aggressive, play a lot of man coverage, blitz from everywhere. So it's a challenge for sure for a spread, hurry-up team like we are.
Right.
It'd be interesting to see how fast we go, is whether or not they can get all the different looks and blitzes and stuff in. Usually teams have to kind of simplify their defense by the way we play. But it's going to be interesting because there's similar offenses. We both like explosive plays and to go fast, but they've just done a better job of probably pushing the ball down the field, and that's what we got to improve on.
We'll take our final break on Coach's Bench with Coach Tigard. We'll be back and talk about the Blue Raiders, the offense, the defense, special teams, etc., and what to expect tonight on Mix 104.1. We've talked enough about the Bears, Coach. Let's get to the Blue Raiders. First of all, what do you have to do? Of course, score points offensively, but how do you want to control the ball?
I mean, we got to establish the tempo of the game. So, we like to go real fast and be multiple. We like to be balanced, 50-50, run pass. We haven't been that way this year until probably the second half of last game. So, Chase coming in and doing so well, opens some options in the future because LJ would be our best receiver, arguably. Him and Braden would be a great 1-2 punch, but we've played him at quarterback the majority of the year. So we're looking at doing some things there. We just you got to figure it out, whatever you got to do to win. If you got to win one game, whatever it takes. And we're treating this game like it's the state championship, and so we'll do whatever we need to do to try to win this one.
The offensive line has got to give LJ enough time to find the receiver, plus, kick those defensive lines out on the running plays. Brian Beard has run it hard this year. LJ has run it hard this year. And then Braden Carroll, a key receiver. Micah Jordan, both sides of the ball. You have weapons. People this week talking about the Bears and what they have. But you have weapons on offense. Yeah,
we've got some great players. I mean, we've used about 5 or 6 different ball carriers. We've had a bunch of kids, catch the snap from quarterback. We've thrown the ball to a lot of people. We don't have the major Power 5 offered players, but we've got a great group of kids who care about each other. We're a good team. And we've really come together as a team. As the longer the season goes on, the closer they're becoming. And that's hard to do year one, especially with a big senior group, and you had a coaching change. So that's the biggest thing that I'm proud about is our seniors have bought into what we're doing. That's never happened year one for me. So these kids are awesome. We love these kids. We love these coaches. We get to come to work every day with some of our best friends. We get to have so much fun together. And so we're not going to be favored in this game. They're supposed to beat us by 40 points or whatever, but we really enjoy being here together. And, all the pressure's really on them, honestly. And so we just got to go out there and play our brand of football and, let it hang and see what happens.
Well, I think David was like a 100-point underdog to Goliath. And
I don't know,
how that one turned out.
I don't know if we're quite that level yet. But no, they're a good team, and they've done a great job this season. And so, when you have that collection of talent, they're thinking state championship or bust. And, for us, we're just trying to establish a new culture and a new team, and we're trying to, hit 8 wins for the first time in a long time. We're trying to get to the playoffs for one, win a playoff game for the first time in 9 years. So those are our long-term goals, but at the same time, if it's Cleveland and Bradley and you can beat Bradley, that's going to be the highest on the list, at least in this county. Since I've been here, that's all everybody talks about. So from the first minute I got here, how you going to beat Bradley and what you're going to do. So we'd love to go ahead and get that monkey off the back if you can.
Vols and Bama.
It's same
year.
thing. And you saw a similar situation with the Vols. So, Heupel did a good job in year one, just didn't really have it going. And then, last year finally knocked them off. I hope it's not on a last chance field goal. But I was there for that game. But, a wild game. But, ultimately, this is what high school football's fun. This is why you like to coach. It's why you want to be here. It's why you come to Cleveland. Is to play Bradley and play Maryville and play Bearden and Farragut and our ridiculously tough region. And,
toughest in the state.
You can argue that. And then if you win that, you win your region, get out of the playoffs, you're getting Oakland and all the Murfreesboro teams in the semifinals before the state championship. So it's the hardest road you can get in our state for public school football for sure.
Let's go to the Cleveland D. You have some people that's had very good years. A.J. Westfield, only a sophomore. Your three senior linebackers and your safeties, corners, they've been out there a lot before, so they know what to do.
Yeah, honestly, we struggled the last 2 weeks. Defense has been our strength of the team until the Bearden and Maryville games. Last week, we just couldn't get lined up. And so when you're misaligned, you have no chance on defense. And Maryville did a great job. Their offensive line so well coached. Same with Bearden. Bearden was so big, and they're just mashing right behind people. So we got to do a better job there for sure. So we've put a big emphasis on run defense this week. But you got to stop the run. You got to run the ball, protect the ball, play good on special teams. It'll be a good special teams matchup because Maryville and Bearden, their kickers hitting the end zone every time. Where both of our kids, us and Bradley, don't necessarily do that. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens on special teams. And that's probably leading into your next question.
That was the next question. Special teams. You've got some dependable people on special teams.
Yeah, we've done a great job on returns. So, Micah Jordan's our punt returner, and then we got Micah and Isaiah Davis both as our kick returners. The kids have really bought into kick return blocking. And so we feel like if they're going to give us a shot, any of those kids, Dylan Harold's had a bunch of good kick returns.
Yes.
So if any of those kids get their hands on the ball, they've got a great shot. The downside is Bradley has all 5 or 6 of those Division I kids on their kick return team, and they've housed more kickoff returns and punt returns than probably anybody in the state this year. So you got to be creative. You got to tackle well. You got to know what you're doing if you're kicking deep or punting the ball to them.
The great thing about football, you can be the favorite, you can be the underdog, but you got to do it on the field. You don't do it during talks with the media, talks with the fans, what you post on social media. It's on the football field. And tonight, here's hoping for a big blue victory over the Bears. Thanks to CHS Live, McDonald's, Coach Tigard giving his time each and every week. Coach, one more thing. I'm going to wrap this one up. I've told you practically every week, on and off the air, you're a different kind of coach. And when I heard the story about, I guess it was 2 weeks ago, you went down on a Thursday night game at Bradley and sat down there in the front section. 1 in a million. Most coaches want to see video or send an assistant, to watch a game like that. You're down there in the middle of it all and watching the Bears. So, my hat's off to you.
Honestly, most coaches live scout. So it's Coach Floyd's come to our game. So he was at our Bearden game. So that's what you should do. Coach Creasy used to always come to our games at Blackman when he was on a bye week, and so I did the same. I wasn't planning on sitting on the front row. They moved us twice, and so I try to sit up high, and then they tell us we got to move, and then they put us down low, and then we got to move again. So then we moved over here. I think the loudest cheer of the game was when we picked up and moved. So you saw it firsthand, but it's part of going to enemy territory, I guess. Yeah. We got lots of stairs and all that, but
no fear.
No, but it's fine. So everybody treated us well. The Bradley people have been great to us since we've been here, so it hasn't turned into that old-fashioned hate yet, I guess. So a lot of respect for them, and so it's going to be a tough challenge on Friday.
I still admire you for being in the middle of the Bears.
Yeah.
Until next week, Terry Evans saying, see you then.
Go Raiders.